for human beings. There's a time when the operation of the machine becomes so odious, makes you so sick at heart that you can't take part. You can't even passively take part. And you've got to put your bodies upon the gears and upon the wheels, upon the levers, upon all the apparatus, and you've got to make it stop. And you've got to indicate to the people who run it, to the people who own it, that unless you're free, the machine will be prevented from working at all.
Welcome back to another Medicinal Mass Media production. Today we got a Glob Quart is now in session. The Honorable Judge Omnivore will be presiding. Today's docket, we have trouble about presenting her case and any others that come up. Omnivore, the court is yours.
Please be seated. All right. So troubled about, what case are you bringing before Glob Quart?
I want to bring a claim that the Southern Hemisphere flat is proof of the existence of God.
The Southern Hemisphere flat. So that would be on the Earth Awaken, the azimuthal equidistant map?
Well, all of them.
All
because
of them.
The shape of the Earth is not in contention for my claim. The Earth is flat.
Mm-hmm.
And the counter argument is that the South is natural and it's not the hand of God. It's not supernatural. That would be, I would think, would be
okay. So that would be the counterclaim. Would be that it's natural and not supernatural.
Yes.
Okay. So make your opening. Do we have anybody who wishes to argue against this? That the Southern Hemisphere flat is not the evidence of the hand of God, or because of the hand of God. Okay, so we may not have a counterpoint here, but go ahead and state your opening case, and then see if somebody wants to take the opposite side.
Okay, I've got a few topics as proof. I've got Sigma Octantis, the direction of the setting sun during summer in the south, 24-hour sun in Antarctica, the shape of Australia, flight paths, longer summer days while the sun moves faster, underwater cables, ice wall, celestial navigation, and Captain Cook.
Okay. Let's start with your two strongest cases. So why do these show proof of the hand of God?
Okay, and I've got a few visuals over here too.
Okay, so you are sharing.
So, we'll start off with Sigma Octantis.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, God put a twinkle in our eyes so that we can still see Polaris from the south, from the Southern Hemisphere flat, by creating corpuscular rays from Polaris, combined with our personal dome of vision, perspective, shape of our eyes, and angular resolution, which creates God's southern convergence zone illusion.
Okay.
So this is the problem over here, is that we have two central rotations, and people claim there can only be one.
Mm-hmm.
And so you've got corpuscular rays coming from one side to the other and creating a rotation of the sun, of the rays. And so that's the sun doing that. So you've got the same thing happening over here with the stars. And so our limit of vision, created by perspective, along with our personal dome of vision, does not allow us to see Polaris from the south. But it does allow, along all these things, it allows us to see it when we normally supposedly can't. And this is just a picture of the hyperbolic geodesic equatorial azimuthal coordinate grid of vision.
Okay.
Oops.
Mm-hmm.
What's that doing in there? Oh, hang on. Oh, I also have a just a quick video of audio of
Enter into
play.
evidence exhibit B.
Yes. Oh, why isn't no sound?
It doesn't belong to us.
Oh, hang on. This will only go for about 2 minutes.
Okay.
Oh, he's a bit quiet. Why is it so quiet?
I fought against it as hard as anybody. But it is what it is. You fought against it. I love that.
Okay, I don't know why it's playing so slow, so quiet. Can't hear any of that.
We cannot hear.
No, hang on. I'll just see. Do you think because YouTube is down low? Just turn YouTube up. Sorry about that. Oh, no, it's loud. Volume. Halfway down. Alright, try again. Oh, well, I'll have to come back to that. Can't hear it.
Okay. We
And-
will look at exhibit B.
Anyway, just as an extra explanation, the movement of the stars is due to Polaris moving in a small circle around God's black hole.
Around
Hang on.
what?
God's black hole.
Oh.
So my second point is the direction of the setting sun during summer. The sun setting southwest instead of northwest during summer is caused by God's azimuthal grid of vision and caustic coffee cup dome reflection burned into the retinas of our memory. So some visuals for that. So, you know, rays are all coming our ways. But really, you've got the actual stars up here. And because of our dome of vision, personal dome of vision, it bends the stars around, and all of a sudden Polaris, which is here, comes up and bends down over the dome, and now you can see it in the south. I like to call it the multi-dome verse. God's multi-dome verse.
I see.
So the next one would be the 24-hour sun in Antarctica. And this is called by the toroidal reflection of God's mind on the dome. And my proof is that everybody sees it. So, see, this is our brain. This is scans of our brain, and this is photos of deep space. You can see it's the same thing. So obviously it's God's brain up there doing all this. And this is the toroidal field. So you've got the flat Earth here in the middle, and you've got the positive charge, magnetic charge coming out the bottom, and out the top, and the negative out the bottom. And this is another visual of it. So, you know, like blue at the top and red down the bottom. It's kind of like good and evil sort of thing, and Earth in the middle. Yeah.
So is evil enveloping the southern hemisphere there? I'm having a difficult time. The court's having a difficult time making out the exact.
Well, science would say positive and negative, but, you know, really it's good
Interesting.
and bad. Adam and Eve, see Adam on the top, Eve down the bottom.
Interesting.
Understood.
Yeah. Yep. And this is the toroidal field. I'm not really sure what's happening. This is both of them, and then you know, that's a top view down of it. And yeah. And so another version of the visual of the toroidal, God's toroidal field. Positive, negative, and yeah. All right. Next one is the shape of Australia. This is a simple grid transference, and thousands of years of convict breeding, leaving the Aussies' only way of describing a distance is by the amount of cartons it takes to travel from one place to another. All thanks to God giving Einstein the code to splitting the atom. So there's our grid transference, quite simple as you can see. Einstein splitting the atom with the beer. Okay, so that one. So flight paths. This is another grid transference caused by the mentally derived optical illusions when looking out the window because God enjoys a good prank. And my proof for this is flat Earth maps. See, because you can see on a flat Earth map you're traveling across here, but really the shortest way to go there is so you're not really seeing the land underneath you. It's a visual delusion, so nobody really knows where they're fucking going. So,
Well, that
and this one's really good. So you take a path from here, and I think also time dilation. So this is the path from the south, and you come around here and you zip, and you come around here and zip, and you land here. So, I mean, the hand of God, obviously.
the court finds this a compelling case.
Yeah. Longer summer days when the sun moves faster. So here we have the famous flat Earth Dave. This is so longer days in the south. God's version of time dilation. Because obviously, like, if you were to travel 2 hours in the middle, in north of the Tropic of Cancer, you would, to go 2 hours, you'd only go like 2 millimeters. But south of the Tropic of Capricorn, if you were to go 2 hours, you would travel like 2 inches. So the obvious answer is time dilation. Now we have underwater cables. So basically, it's the magnification properties of water and God's anti-time dilation causing cognitive dissonance while when stepping out of the water, creating the illusion that less cables have been laid than actually have. Because obviously on a flat Earth to lay cables in the south, you're going to have more cable than on a globe. But you are actually laying more cables, you just don't understand because of the time dilation and magnification of water. And that one, there's my evidence for that. See the magnification? Huge. So when you step out of the water, obviously it reverses, so time shrinks again. Next one would be the ice wall. And this is God's negative charged magnetic ice wall, making every compass point north. See, people think compasses are attracted to the north, when really they're repelled from the south. I think that one's a pretty solid claim, that one. It's simple, so we'll just leave that there. We've got celestial navigation, and this is caused by the parabolic kinetic equivalence grid transference of God's celestial dome. Quite straightforward. So you don't know where you're looking at when you're looking at trying to find the stars. They're just all over the place. Trying to find the Southern Cross is just impossible on the globe almost. But here you can see again the stars up the top, because your personal dome bent them down, and you can see them everywhere. And my proof of this is the ability to navigate with a flat Earth star chart. Here we are measuring the stars to the celestial cylinder spherical dome. Yeah. But of course, you can only do this with God's help. So bendy light beats bendy water. Everybody knows that. There's your stars up there, and there's your personal dome of vision. It's all quite complex, really. So no wonder, for those who lack imagination, it's hard to understand, of course. And our last one is Captain Cook, and he's a failed grifter. Unfortunately, the devil got to that poor sod, and he was just going around in circles, and you can't really trust anyone that got eaten by cannibals. And Cook actually sailed 93 million miles around the southern hemisphere, taking him approximately 23.4 years, 22 months, several hours, 12 minutes, and 1 second. And Cook is infamous for creating the first Epstein Island called Australia.
Well,
And my proof of that is cannibals, of course. So that's my case. I think it's pretty solid. I don't know if it's
Okay.
too much information for normal people.
So yeah, I think I can field the defense on this one. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I would just like to point out that this is obviously a sad tale of a very confused poor soul. Wanting to blame all of this on some imaginary person in the sky, as if all of the world's problems are because of one thing. Your Honor, I'd like to call to the stand God.
very well. Produce your witness.
God,
Counselor?
if you could just please come to the stand, that'd be real great.
Have we got a priest or anyone who's willing to represent God?
Let's me.
You sound priest-like. Bless you.
I think you have failed to produce a witness. The court finds that God has determined not to be called to the stand, unfortunately.
The defense rests.
Very well. The court finds that many excellent points have been made. And while the court may not understand all of the technical terminology in use, the case presented does seem to have technical merit because of several big words and possibly invented jargon. Therefore, we will go to the jury. Jury instructions are if we can get a poll to vote either for the prosecution, which would be that the southern hemisphere does indeed provide evidence of the hand of God, or the other vote, if Demon Strike can set up the poll for us, will be that the failed witness of God has stood in effect against the claims.
Although if somebody else wants to take a stab at defense, go for it before we. Otherwise, I'll say rest.
Yeah. So this time for defense, well, another person can take for defense. Yeah,
Sorry, what was that?
I can defend something right now, right?
Yes.
Yes, if you have a defense to present, the Barrister Theo will present a defense against this. Go ahead.
Yeah, on this topic.
On this topic, on part.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, no, just on what we've been talking about now, just on the southern hemisphere being proof of the existence of God. It's a pretty strong case, I think.
Okay, maybe you can argue for fine tuning. Yeah. It's when you look in the sky, it's so amazing. The light, all the all how it looks so that the fact that the light takes doesn't destroy our eyes, and all this amazing wonders, the way how when you're in the southern hemisphere you don't die of heat and many things. It's proof that they are fine tuned. Yeah, I think I've made my case.
I know we've got all the poisonous spiders down here. I couldn't really fit them into my presentation anywhere, but they alone have to be the proof of God, I would think.
Okay.
Because how else are we surviving?
The rest of the world wonders about this as well.
Interesting.
I think it's a pretty slam dunk case. I'm pretty disappointed that nobody has any they can't, refute it.
Let me refute it. Yeah. Yeah. Let me refute it. Yeah. So, yeah. So you have to be able to if you are claiming that this is on a dome, you have to be able to explain observation like the Foucault pendulum, how we can calculate the gravity at a certain point.
Well, we
using
don't have Foucault pendulums in the south.
you can take them there with your instrument. Yeah, with a ball and a string. Yeah. So the fact that we have GPS and it calculates how the size of the Earth and yeah. So and many things like you need to explain stellar parallax, stellar aberration.
Well, basically, grid transference is what's happening on with the maps. So you can just transfer those coordinates onto a flat Earth map, and you can still use that.
But using this, we can know how far a star is using a stellar aberration. No, stellar parallax. Stellar parallax.
Have you been to a star?
No, we haven't.
Then how do you know what it is or how far it is? You can't measure it. You haven't been there. Did you get a measuring tape out?
No, if a helicopter is on the sky, we can know how far it is, and we know it's really huge, even though to your eyesight it looks small, right? Since it looks small, we can infer that if it looks small at your eyesight, yet you know the actual size, we can infer the star must be very huge. In order to
we have a limit to our vision,
For example,
so we can't.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
No, sorry. You go.
Yeah, you know the helicopter real size, right? If the helicopter real size reduces to the size of an ant on your eyesight,
Angular perspective.
Yes,
yeah.
Then it must be really far away for a star to be much smaller, to your eyesight, or much bigger. It will mean that this thing is very far away, right?
So you're saying that when a helicopter's far away and it's probably 10 miles and it gets to this tiny little dot, and now the stars are tiny little dots, so they're only about 10 miles away. Welcome to flat Earth.
No, they are much farther since since they appear to be.
But you've never been there, so you have no proof of it. You can't verify it. You just got mathemagic, which works fine in God's world. I mean, you can do all that.
No, but if we can predict the actual location, right, of how far the aeroplane is to us, right, just using simple math, right, and after we confirm it, right, then we should be able to infer how far it is from the start, right? Since
do you need to know the size of the helicopter to know how far away it is? As it shrinks and gets smaller and smaller.
No, you don't need to know the size. If for example, if you get a very accurate picture camera, and after, yeah.
Well, if I got the helicopter between me and the star, how do you know which one's further?
You first calculate.
If you're not going off the size, getting bigger and smaller, that makes no sense.
Using,
Your Honor, I think he's misleading the court.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've presented my case.
Okay. And of course, again, it has nothing to do with the South. And you know, my claim is that the South proves the Southern Hemisphere proves God's glorious Earth. Otherwise, it has to be a globe. Is basically my claim.
Hemisphere?
Yeah, the Southern Hemisphere.
But it's an dome though. So yeah.
Well, in order for it to be a Southern Hemisphere, it has to be by the hand of God. Otherwise, you're saying it's natural. And it's not supernatural. Whereas I'm telling, I don't. The only way the South works on a flat Earth is if it's supernatural.
And another thing you mentioned is you talked about time dilation. Most
Time dilation.
yes, you
That's where
talked
time
about
shrinks
yeah.
and expands.
Yeah, but flat earthers, most flat earthers have don't accept general relativity.
I
or
know.
special relativity.
Yeah,
So
because most flat earthers don't understand physics, and most flat earthers are horrible at math. So
And they don't understand the flat Earth. Obviously,
yes,
there has to be time dilation.
yes.
I will note that we do have a sidebar here that claims that there are Foucault's pendulums in Australia,
yeah,
according to Wikipedia. So we
that's
can
a bit
enter
rude.
that into unreliable evidence, since we know anybody can edit Wikipedia.
oh, it's unreliable
Thank you.
now because
Thank you.
they're in Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa, but
You
what?
haven't proven Australia exists yet, so.
So, excuse me. So, what do we need to do? We need to go there yourself in order to show that.
Yes.
So
You
Australia
don't know where
doesn't exist.
Australia is.
Are you serious? Australia doesn't exist.
Well, you can only get here with the hand of God, because
Is
how
somebody
do you know where
prepared to?
Australia is on a flat Earth map? Like, how do you
Well-
even navigate on one of those things? I mean,
What-
only with the hand of God would that be possible.
Barrister, is somebody prepared to enter Australia into evidence?
Yes,
think-
I will. I guess. No, hang
Can
on.
you provide all of Australia to the court?
Actually, no, I know a person who went to Australia.
There
Yeah.
are 5 Foucault pendulums in South Africa.
Okay. Well, I think that we have gone back and forth on this. So, bailiff demonstrate if we can get a vote for the jury.
8 Foucault pendulums in Australia and 1 in New
Yes.
Zealand. And they actually did the one in Antarctica. It wasn't a permanent one.
Well, it proves God. All you're doing is help me prove God. If you're saying that a Foucault's pendulum won't work won't work on a flat Earth in Australia, yet we have one and they work, how is that not the hand of God?
If you presented
you're proving my case for me.
If you presented for
Poll
the
is up in the
prosecution
chat.
or the defense, you can vote for yourself, and should vote for yourself. And
Alright, we can
so
vote, can
we
we?
will.
Hang on.
There we go. We'll leave voting open for the next 2 minutes.
Am
How
I
do
the
you vote?
prosecution or defense? I'm a bit confused.
You're the
I'm
prosecution.
prosecuting.
You are the
prosecuting.
prosecution. You are in trouble. Yes, you are
How am I
one.
lose? Oh yeah, there's me trouble. Okay, God, I'm done. So I just tap my name. Is that all I had to do?
Click at the bottom, number 1, which now has a vote count of 4.
Okay.
Now 5.
There are 3 Foucault pendulums in Chile.
Definitely Foucault.
alleged full cults.
Alleged. Why alleged? Because you haven't seen them personally?
In the flat in the southern hemisphere flat in Australia, we prefer not to use them because it just brings cognitive dissonance and makes you think you're on a globe.
But didn't you say Australia doesn't exist?
Well,
Okay.
at times we're like that Irish city that disappears and only turns up every 100 years.
Brigadoon. Huh?
Yeah, that's us.
Okay. So is the poll closed?
How do you vote for yourself?
If you are the defense, you would vote 2. If you were on troubled side, you would vote 1. And you would click on the numbers on the bottom in open chat.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. All right. The jury has found in favor of the prosecution. The Southern Hemisphere flat is found to be evidence of God. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great
Okay.
job, Glovers.
So is there another case to bring before Glob Quart? Does anybody want to bring a subject before the court?
I think let me bring Justin to me.
Okay. Do you have a case to present?
Yes.
Okay. Theo
Excellent.
will present for the prosecution.
Okay, the case I'm going to make for geocentrism, yeah, since the time of Galileo, they have been teaching that this thing has got disproven long time ago, and yeah, and they give evidence like stellar parallax, stellar aberration, retrograde, stuff like this. Some people who aren't knowledgeable might bring even gravity, but we know all this can be stellar parallax, stellar aberration, and retrograde can also be explained by relative motion, and gravity is just explained by by putting the Earth as the center of mass of the whole universe. Yeah, and when we're talking about how can the Earth be the center of the whole universe, right? We are talking about that the Earth it has the special place in the whole universe. Is centered. The whole universe is centered around us, and this would imply that maybe there's some being placed us there, and that's why even great scientists, all the physicists admit that geocentrism is possible, and the reason why they don't accept it is on philosophical grounds. Yeah, and we have evidence for geocentrism. Evidence like axis of evil that was discovered long time. Yeah, can even recite a quote from a physicist named Lawrence Krauss. As he said, as we look through the CMB map, we noticed that the structure observed is correlated with the motion of the Earth around the Sun. Is it Copernicus coming back to haunt us? We are truly the center of the universe. Yeah, this is Lawrence Krauss talking, and we have many scientists, like even Einstein said the struggle was so violent between the views of Ptolemy and Copernicus, either coordinate can be used with equal justification. And other evidence was the Michelson-Morley experiment. It failed to find the ether. For them, they concluded that there was no ether doesn't exist. But when we read to Michelson-Gale experiment, they found an ether. They found an ether that they had predicted. Yeah, and there's a conflict between the two experiments. Yeah, some have tried explaining it away as saying that there's time dilation, the rotation of the Earth causes clocks to fail to synchronize. But an experiment was done by Young experiment, which showed that the rotation of the interferometer has nothing to do with the frame shift observed. Yeah, and other evidence for geocentrism is things like let's say yes.
Okay.
I think that's it.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so to reiterate, the court sees the argument for geocentrism, that is the Earth at the center of everything, are the commentary by several noted physicists and astronomers, the evidence in the so-called axis of evil in the cosmic microwave background, and the MMX and MPG experiments that affirmed the ether. Do I have that correct, Councillor Theo?
Yes.
Okay. So is there somebody who wishes to take the counter side of this, that the Earth is not the center of everything?
Yeah. So there's kinematic equations that would show that you, as an observer, wouldn't be able to tell whether or not we are or aren't. So I'd say, if you can't tell where we are, I mean, you're just assuming.
I see. So these kinematic equations somehow make us unable to determine if the Earth is in the center of everything or not.
Exactly. They're dynamically equivalent kinematic equations. The Neo-Tychonian Brahe papers, I can't get them right now because I'm driving, but they show that equivalence, and it's an antecedent.
The court will enter the Neo-Tychonian model into evidence for Councillor Demonstride, since the court has that already admitted. I see. So Theo, Councillor
Yes.
Theo, what is your response to the argument that this kinematic equivalence makes it impossible for us to resolve if we are the center or not?
Yes, yes, it's true that kinematic equivalence, but the way you can resolve whether we are in the center or not is through experiments. Experiment is, since observation can't tell us if we're in the center or not. Experiment is what can tell us if we're in the center or not.
What experiment would tell us? Would that be the Michelson-Pearson-Gale and Michelson-Morley experiments, or are there other experiments that we could use?
Yeah, we can. Those one might not tell us if we're in the center. They might tell us if we're not moving or not. But evidence that would be in the center, right, would be redshift. Even many physicists have noted that. I would cite even Einstein himself. No, even this Lawrence, it's called Stephen Hawkins, noted that that it appears that there might be a or that we might be the center of the universe due
Mm.
to even Hubble said such a condition would imply that we live in a dubious world analogous to the ancient conception of a central earth. Such a hypothesis cannot be disproven, but it is unwelcome and should only be accepted as a last resort. This is what Hubble, when he saw the redshift, he was like this. This was intolerable. Yeah, and also instead of that's how they created the expanding universe, like a balloon expanding outward to make it make the redshift. But now many evidence have come challenging this notion that this interpretation of redshift, like James Webb Telescope, has come challenging this notion that this interpretation. But but our model of redshift explained redshift very well. Yeah, and also many people have noted. I can I can cite a paper by a physicist called Paul Met. He noted that he was studying redshift of quasars, and he noted that we're in the center of the universe. In his conclusion, Paul Met is a Canadian physicist. Yeah.
Okay. So a Canadian. So if the court understands this correctly, the redshift that is seen by astronomers, including the Hubble telescope, would indicate that because everything is redshifted, as the court understands it to be, that would lend credence to evidence that the Earth is in the center and everything is moving away from the Earth, as everything is redshifted, like a police car siren moving away from us. So, okay. So Demon Stride or somebody speaking for a heliocentric solar system. What do you say to the evidence presented by the redshift? We do not have anyone presenting evidence to speak against the redshift as evidence that the Earth is in the center of the universe. So, do you wish to make a closing argument or closing statement, Theo?
Yeah, the closing statement. I would like to quote a physicist. Is a physicist name is called Einstein. He said the struggle was so violent between the views of Ptolemy and Copernicus, either coordinate can be used with equal justification. So that means, right, you can use your heliocentric model, I can use my geocentric model, and we'll reach the same answer, right? But the way we differentiate is through experiment. If you can't, if you observe, if my geocentric model doesn't have problems like dark matter, dark energy, things like this, many problems that that constantly come, then it makes sense that it's much easier to go with geocentrism, since it's much easier. Even some physicists have noted that the geocentric model has solution to this. Yeah.
Okay. We will have to go perhaps later in some other scenario. We can talk about how geocentrism would resolve the problems of dark matter, or dark energy. But that is certainly interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
Can I just ask one quick question?
Sure.
How did the Michelson-Morley What did that experiment do?
Um,
You mentioned it earlier.
yes, Maxon more experiment. They tried to find this ether instead of them concluding that the ether might be suggesting that the Earth is not moving. They concluded that ether doesn't exist. But even though there was some little bit of ether that was being detected, fringe shift that was detected, very small, which they weren't able to explain away, but they were just concluded it was an experimental error. But many other experiments kept on finding this small fringe shift. Even a Lego, this thing detecting black holes, they used the same interferometer as Maxon Morley. Maxon Morley, yes, they still found some fringe shift. For them, they might say this is black hole. They're detecting the black hole, but they use the same interferometer as Maxon Morley, and they found some fringe shift that was remaining. It was there.
So it proved movement, did it?
No, it shows that there's an ether. There's an ether that keeps on coming in every interferometer, like the Maxon Morley. Even the GPS. The GPS also has a fringe shift of about 50 nanoseconds. Of course, they can explain it. This one can be explained without heat, but this fringe shift always happens every day, 24 hours. Yeah. So yeah, it's the GPS is structured like the Maxon.
Okay, so it
Morley
proved the
thing.
ether. Okay, no
Yes.
worries.
Okay. All right. Demon's Stride, if you are driving, I don't think it's good for you to. Oh well. Okay, somebody has put that in. So please.
No, I'm not actually driving. That was a
Okay.
reference to Witsit.
Yeah. Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, I've done that too. Okay, so if the prosecution proved its case, that you felt that the prosecution proved its case that the Earth is the center of the universe, or at least the center of the solar system, vote 1 for Theo. Otherwise, vote 2 for the defense offered by Demon Stride and Trouble About. And yes, the court finds that when asked to present citations, which it is always driving.
Ooh, it's tight, 4 and 4.
It is a tie. However, if it remains a tie, then the court will cast the deciding vote. We have a sidebar suggesting that an Australia-centric universe breaks tie. However, the presiding magistrate in this case, the Honorable Judge Omnivore, will note that according to kinematic evidence, Omnivore himself is the center of all things.
Well, I was wondering, am I still upside down in a geocentric universe?
What's that?
Am I still upside down in a geocentric universe?
Yes. Geocentric generally holds that the Earth is a globe.
Yeah, but Australia's at the bottom still. Like, is there an up and
Yes.
down? Like,
Well,
that's just...
Australia, by nature of being Australia, would be at the bottom in any potential geometric coordinate system.
Yes, and also the ancient geocentrists, all of them have been global. All of them from Ptolemy, all of them have been global. Yeah,
So when you look from the north down to the south, is everything upside down?
north up to the south.
Because when I look at Australia, I'm looking from the north down.
No, of course, if
So
you're
when
on
you
the
look, you're
ground,
looking from the top down. So wouldn't it be upside down to you guys? Oh, that's what
no,
you're saying. I am upside down. Never mind.
of
No,
course,
we'll vote on it and you're upside down.
Why doesn't my money fall out of my pockets if I'm upside down?
because of gravity.
Are you sure? Can we be certain that you actually have money in your pocket?
Well, she's not a
Well,
flat
now I know
earther.
why I don't have any.
Well, she's not a flat earther, so it's possible she has money.
True. So the given that we are at a tie, the court will find in favor of the prosecution, which presented quotes by Lawrence Krauss, the defense, although providing documentation was not able to present quotes by Lawrence Krauss. Therefore, judgment for the prosecution. Theo has proven his case.
Excellent.
All right. Okay. Do we have anything else on the docket? Is there anybody else who wants to we're at 8:53, so I think if we're shooting for about an hour, we probably want to adjourn.
I did just want to add a caveat. I was a bit disappointed God didn't turn up to court, but I thought I had enough evidence without him ananyway.
High
Bit
hopes,
mean.
right?
Demons tried to call him up, really. He's quite busy.
But how
Yes,
can we
thank
be
you.
sure of that?
Thank you. Thanks to the jury for voting. Thanks for the people bringing the cases to be prosecuted, and thanks to Omnivore for presiding over the court.
Court adjourned.
Yeah, thanks, Omnivore. That was great.
Thanks.
I was a bit disappointed with you.